In the realm of Auria, the king and his knights pursue a dragon across the rugged hills. Their pursuit leads them deep into a cavern, where they stumble upon a startling sight. As the group reels from the shock, the dragon swoops in, unleashing a torrent of flames that swiftly dispatches most of the knights. With calculated precision, the dragon systematically eliminates the remaining defenders, leaving only the king, who resigns himself to his fate on a bent knee. Centuries later, in a distant northern land, Floria and Elodie, daughters of the local lord, toil tirelessly amidst the harsh winter conditions plaguing their people. As their community teeters on the brink of collapse, a rare visitor brings unexpected news. Elodie is sought after for marriage by the royal family of Auria, a proposal met with initial resistance, but ultimately accepted when the promise of financial salvation for their struggling town is revealed. Amidst treacherous seas, the Bayford family embarks on a journey to Auria, where Elodie's impending union awaits. Navigating through an ominous mist, the travelers encounter eerie silhouettes in the darkness, only to realize they are confronted by colossal dragon sculptures guarding their destination. Upon their arrival, the family is captivated by the prosperity of the land and the grandeur of the castle. Guided by servants to their quarters, they anticipate meeting the royal family the following day. Elodie, drawn to the balcony, admires the vista and glimpses a girl her age on a neighboring balcony, swiftly whisked away by a maid. Restless that night, Elodie occupies herself with sketching before seeking solace on the balcony, noting the absence of light from the other girl's room and the distant torches signaling nocturnal activity on the mountain. The next day, Elodie's family encounters the royals, with Queen Isabel assigning Elodie to spend time with Prince Henry prior to the wedding. Despite initial awkwardness, Elodie and Henry engage in an enjoyable conversation, further cementing their connection. Henry later praises Elodie's artistic talents in a letter, prompting her inquiry about the torches she observed. Henry elucidates their significance as part of ancient rituals honoring ancestors, coinciding with the wedding day. Meanwhile, tensions simmer within the castle as Lord Bayford concludes negotiations with Isabel, his demeanor betraying inner turmoil. Lady Bayford's attempts to engage Isabel are met with coldness, hinting at underlying friction. During a conversation where Lady Bayford suggests fostering familial harmony, Isabel dismisses the notion, asserting that their union is purely pragmatic. She requires a princess, while Bayford's estate requires financial infusion. She subtly underscores her elevated status by referencing her lineage as the daughter of a ropemaker, implying Bayford should remain mindful of her social standing. Lady Bayford attempts to correct Isabel's mispronunciation of Elodie's name, but Isabel displays indifference and departs. Concerned, Lady Bayford later confides in Elodie about her suspicions, advocating for the cancellation of the wedding. However, before they can delve deeper into the matter, Lord Bayford intervenes and disperses them for the night. The following morning, as Elodie prepares for the ceremony with the assistance of maids, she is adorned in a stunning gown, accompanied by a peculiar combination of accessories, a blunt dagger and a perfume diffuser. The wedding proceeds smoothly, culminating in the exchange of vows, a kiss, and Elodie receiving her own crown. Bid farewell by her family, Elodie embarks on a carriage journey with Henry, who elucidates their imminent participation in an ancient mountain ceremony. Ascending rocky steps, Elodie is startled to encounter a congregation adorned with eerie golden masks, including Isabel garbed as a nun. Isabel presents Elodie with a coin symbolizing her role in safeguarding the kingdom, before leading them inside to share a tale. When their ancestors first settled on the island, they encountered the last surviving dragon, which promptly attacked their village upon sighting humans. Despite the king's efforts to combat the creature with his soldiers, the dragon mercilessly slew everyone except the king himself, who was compelled to sacrifice his 3 daughters to secure peace on the island. As Elodie absorbs the unsettling tale, she notices the eerie gazes fixed upon her and the perilous bridge they traverse above a gaping chasm. Isabel elucidates that the annual ceremony commemorates the king's sacrifice, culminating in the symbolic mingling of blood between Henry and Elodie, anointing her as of royal lineage. However, the ritual takes a horrifying turn when Henry unexpectedly pushes Elodie into the chasm, causing her to plummet amidst screams until she lands in a mud puddle, unconscious but alive. Regaining consciousness with bruises adorning her body, Elodie's desperation morphs into righteous anger as she strips off her ornate jewelry and attempts to climb to safety, only to suffer another injury in the process, discovering additional jewelry not belonging to her. Elodie realizes the royals have been sacrificing girls to the dragon for generations. Her resolve is interrupted by a mysterious noise, leading her into a cave, where she finds a bird engulfed in flames. Despite her efforts to extinguish the fire, the bird perishes, triggering a deafening roar as countless fiery birds emerge from the cave, circling above Elodie before falling lifelessly around her. Guided by the eerie glow of the lifeless fiery bodies, Elodie desperately seeks an escape route, freezing in terror as the dragon approaches. Taking cover behind a stalagmite, she listens as the dragon speaks of the generational tribute owed by royalty, sensing the scent of obligation in Elodie's blood. Examining her scar, Elodie discerns the deceit behind the ceremony, aimed at deceiving the dragon. In a frantic escape, she darts through tunnels, pursued by the dragon's fiery breath, narrowly evading the flames to find refuge in a hidden chamber where she discovers the charred remains of the balcony girl. As the dragon closes in, Elodie's attempts to flee are hampered by her dress snagging in a narrow passage, forcing her to struggle free amidst encroaching flames. Suffering burns to her leg, she endures agonizing pain, ultimately fashioning makeshift bandages and a crude lantern from her belongings. Determined to press on, she navigates through treacherous caverns, her progress impeded by obstacles and her own fatigue. Despite her injuries, Elodie perseveres, clinging to hope as she approaches a distant light, only to face the precarious edge of a cliff. Still fixated on the distant light, Elodie takes a decisive step, discarding her wedding ring into the abyss before leaping across the chasm. As she lands on the slippery surface of the cliff's far side, she struggles to maintain her grip until her belt catches on a rock, providing a brief reprieve. Utilizing her dagger, she secures a precarious hold, ascending to discover the source of the light. Luminous slugs illuminating the cavern. Crafting a makeshift lantern from her torn sleeve and the slugs, Elodie continues her exploration, stumbling upon a small lake tainted by the foul taste of cave plants. However, she finds solace in collecting dripping ice from the ceiling for sustenance. Her respite is abruptly shattered when the dragon's fiery assault breaches the icy barrier, prompting Elodie to flee once more into a narrow passage beyond the dragon's reach. Discovering a refugee marked by a cryptic message signed V, she encounters evidence of the dragon's past victims, including the poignant revelation of a girl named Victoria. Reflecting on their fate, Elodie tends to her injured leg, only to be plagued by haunting visions of the sacrifice's tormented spirits. In a startling twist, she awakens to find healing slugs enveloping her wounds, their soothing properties mending her injuries. Emboldened by this unexpected turn, Elodie further explores her surroundings, discovering a map that offers a glimmer of hope that someone before her had managed to escape. The map offers Elodie a crucial direction: to navigate 3 forks in the tunnel, select the middle one, and follow the guiding presence of crystals and music leading to freedom. Shedding the cumbersome remnants of her dress, Elodie adds her name to the wall and proceeds along the designated path, braving the ominous echoes of the dragon's roars. Her journey brings her to a crystalline chamber, illuminated by sunlight filtering through the exit above, marked by a crown bearing the initial V, evidence that Victoria had successfully escaped. Equipping herself with makeshift protection, Elodie begins her ascent, unaware of the dragon's vigilant gaze. Despite a perilous fall, Elodie clings to the precipice, urged onward by the dragon's ominous presence. Reaching the brink of despair at the sight of the gaping chasm, her hope is reignited by the distant sound of approaching riders. However, her relief is short-lived as the dragon intercepts their rescue attempt, sealing off the exit. Desperate and alone, Elodie stumbles upon the grim truth of Victoria's fate and the deceit of the royal family. As Lord Bayford and his men initiate a search for her, Elodie navigates through the labyrinthine tunnels, encountering a chilling revelation of the kingdom's dark history and the dragon's tragic vengeance. Though reunited with her father's party, Elodie remains concealed, wary of the dangers lurking in the shadows. The dragon swoops in, seizing a knight and soaring into the sky before releasing him to a fatal plummet onto the rocky terrain below. As chaos ensues, the second knight meets a gruesome fate under the dragon's crushing grip, while Bayford, attempting to defend his daughter, faces a futile struggle against the beast's overpowering strength. Meanwhile, Elodie, hidden nearby, witnesses the tragic exchange, her heart heavy with grief as her father valiantly sacrifices himself to shield her. In a poignant farewell, Elodie bids her father farewell before summoning the courage to ascend from the depths of the cavern using the rope he left behind. As the dragon wreaks havoc in its pursuit, Elodie narrowly evades the flames, seizing a fleeting moment to mount her father's horse before seeking refuge under the cover of rocks. Exploiting the dragon's fixation on the horse, Elodie cunningly evades capture, while the dragon's fiery rampage heralds a tumultuous storm, signaling the rupture of a precarious truce. In the castle, Isabel seizes upon the chaos, seizing the opportunity to enact her sinister agenda by dispatching her knights to capture Floria. Lady Bayford intervenes to prevent Floria's abduction, sustaining a grievous injury in the process. Later, as the flames subside, Elodie emerges from hiding and encounters Lady Bayford, who, despite her wounds, has journeyed to the scene on horseback. Upon learning of the events, Elodie pledges to rescue her sister and swiftly returns to the mountain with the horse in tow. Meanwhile, Floria is forcibly brought to the bridge, where Henry refuses to partake in the ritual involving a child. Ignoring his protests, Isabel proceeds with the ceremony, substituting her own blood for Henry's and coercing Floria into the sacrificial act before casting her into the abyss. Upon Elodie's arrival at the bridge, she finds Floria missing and the dragon lying in wait, having spared Floria to lure Elodie into a trap. Determined to save her sister, Elodie retraces her steps into the cavern using the rope, hastening her descent with newfound resolve. Armed with her father's sword and armed with knowledge of the dragon's lair, Elodie devises a cunning plan, setting a trap with burning armor and rope to distract the dragon. As the dragon is lured away by the diversion, Elodie prepares to confront the beast head-on in a bid to rescue her sister. Elodie seizes the opportunity to infiltrate the dragon's lair and rouse Floria, albeit slowed by a leg injury. Their reunion is short-lived as the dragon returns, prompting Floria to conceal herself while Elodie stands ready with her sword. Despite Elodie's attempts to expose the queen's deceit, the dragon remains unconvinced and launches a fiery assault. In a daring move, Elodie redirects the attack with her sword, but is thrown off the ledge, sustaining burns as she plunges into a nearby lake. As the dragon closes in, Elodie retaliates, using her dagger to blind the beast temporarily and engaging in a fierce battle, sustaining injuries but refusing to relent. In a final gambit, Elodie lures the dragon towards a stalagmite, deflecting its fiery breath to cause a collapse that incapacitates the beast. Confronting the dragon with the truth of its actions, Elodie chooses mercy over vengeance, aiding in the creature's recovery with healing slugs. Meanwhile, chaos unfolds in the castle as Elodie disrupts another wedding, urging the bride and locals to flee. As the dragon exacts retribution, the castle falls, but Elodie, Floria, and Lady Bayford depart, unified in their resolve to rebuild their land. During their journey, a moment of understanding passes between Elodie and the dragon, signaling a newfound respect amidst the aftermath of conflict.